Today I get to talk with Julie Cajigas. She is the PR professor at the University of Akron, and Zach Leininger, and he is a University of Akron student. What are you studying, Zach?
I'm a media studies major right now.
Media studies. What do you do in media studies?
A lot of production work, a lot of script writing, just a lot of pre-post production. Yeah.
Okay, great. And we're actually here today. We're going to be talking about the ZipsGuide. I'm going to let you do the longer form of that.
The big explanation.
Yes.
So ZipsGuide, which is just www.zipsguide.com, for those who would like to check it out, is a community-engaged collaborative partnership between the School of Communication at the University of Akron and Downtown Akron Partnership. And it started out as my students in writing were going to do a couple of news releases for DAP for some of their events.
Right.
And as I was working with Dominic Caruso, their media and communications director, we kind of came up with the idea of, well, what if the students do a little article about things, in downtown during the holiday, shopportunities.
Shopportunities, I love that.
And it just in seeing how well the students did with it and how much they took to getting to know the community members, it turned into a larger project. And so it's a guide, depending on how many students are in the class, there might be 15 to 20 full-length features on small businesses.
Wow, that's awesome.
And we hope that the community will take a look, especially those last-minute shoppers, will take a look at the guide, and even after the holiday is over, get to know the neighbors that are providing downtown with these shops and products.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I'm really big on small businesses. Obviously here, at Good Morning Akron, we love to promote the little guy and we want to get the word out. So I love that you guys are doing that. And Zach, you got to write one of those features about one of the small businesses. So go ahead and share a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was a very cool experience for me. I got the opportunity to interview the owners of Designs by Scamper here in Akron. They're one of the many vendors at Northside Marketplace.
Okay.
And their story was very unique to me because the owners, Jim and Jenny, they started the business as a way to kind of rebound after they. So for the last few years, they've been they kind of had some struggles with like pregnancy, with conceiving a child.
Right.
So. To kind of as a way to empower themselves and turn a good situation or a bad situation good, they opened up this business as a way to earn money towards adoption, because adoption's very expensive.
So expensive.
And there's so much that goes into it, and they couldn't do it on their own. And at the same time, the company allows them to honor their pets, because they always have a love. They've always had a love for pets, a love for crafting. So Scamper, Designs by Scamper, is named after one of their old dogs, Scamper, who passed away in 2015.
Okay.
And they've since incorporated a bunch of their other animals into their collection.
That's super fun. So it's crafts, and are they all animal based? Can you tell me a little bit about their products that they have?
Some of them are animal based. They have some of them are animal based. They have one like a dog bandana section. So
people love dog bandanas, so that's a super fun one.
So that's a cool one. They have like some 3D printed toys and some fidget toys.
Okay.
I wouldn't say those are animal based, but they are. I think it's Tucker's Toy Box was the collection there. So kind of just the
fun crafty things.
Yeah, collections aren't necessarily animals, but the theme, the basis of it is.
Right, absolutely. Yep. That's really fun.
They actually moved into Northside Marketplace this past summer,
I think. Back in July.
Yep, and my kids immediately were drawn to their products. They have beautifully 3D printed dragons. They have 3D printed axolotls, which my kids are really into.
Fun.
Axolotls. They have some Browns themed 3D prints that are really the cute little bulldogs.
That's really cool.
And then they have a line of fidgets and other toys that, so my children struggle with ADHD, and so they really love fidgets.
Yeah.
So we've been over to Designs by Scamper, picking through all the cool little
fidgets and all the fun things.
All the 3D printed animals articulate, so you can move like the little turtle's arms, and you can twist the snakes so the kids really enjoy it.
That's awesome. That sounds like so much fun. And I know that my daughter actually just got into dressing our Beagle. It's a Beagle Bulldog, and got him a little bandana. So I might have to take her over there to get a new dog bandana from them. So go ahead and share just a little bit more about what's going to be coming out in this issue of the ZipsGuide.
I'm pretty excited about this issue. I actually had 2 classes work on it, my PR writing course and my news writing course. And there's 2 big features that I'm particularly excited about. One is a book feature, and it talks about how to give gifts to your bookworm bibliophile friends.
Yes.
And they profile a bunch of the small indie bookstores. There's actually quite a few little independent shops in Akron that specialize in books, and it's they each have their own special sort of niche. Elizabeth's bookstore is featured, and they feature only books written by people of color or queer authors. So bring diverse voices to the forefront. Have you been?
Are they still in the Well?
Yeah,
they're still over there in Middlebury. So they're in Middlebury in the Well. And
then, have you been to Trust Books?
I have not.
Okay, everybody needs to go to Trust Books at least one time, but I would live in there if they had Wi-Fi. The students asked them why they don't for me, because I wanted to know.
Because you want to live in there?
I want to live in there. And they said that they want to kind of keep the space, free from distractions of technology.
I understand that, yeah.
But Trust Books is an unstaffed bookstore. So when you go in there, there's no one in there.
Okay.
Well, there might be customers, but there's no one running the store. And it's this big, beautiful space. There's seating. There's like a little fireplace with a rocking chair. There's a guitar in case you want to have a jam session. And it's an honor system bookstore. So you pick what you want to purchase, and you go to the cash register and make your own change.
Is this in Cuyahoga Falls?
No, the owners are in Cuyahoga Falls, but Trust Books is actually in the Northside District. It's in the basement of the building that Northside Cellar is in.
Oh, wonderful. I've been to a similar one in the Falls, which is why I was asking.
It's probably owned by the same folks, because they have a couple businesses in the Falls.
Wonderful.
But anyway, this feature kind of goes through all of those different shops and talks about what makes them unique and what you can find there, and then it gives some tips. What if you have a friend and you don't get their taste? I think we all have that person.
Yes,
they're a voracious reader, but if I buy them a book, they're probably not going to like the book I buy.
Yeah.
So there's lots of tips. And then another student did a sidebar to that story about bookish non-books. So items to buy for the reader that are not books.
Yes, that's fun.
She featured some awesome, book wallets and
probably bookmarks. And they have all kinds of cool, like magnet stuff.
Banned Books Box, which is also in Northside Marketplace, sells a personal library kit where it has little papers that you can put your own little stamp on your books and kind of set up your own little Dewey Decimal System. And so
I love that.
I had fun reading it and thought of things that I might want to buy or I might want to gift to people in my life. The other feature that I really enjoy, I love them all, but the other one I really enjoy, there are 2 students that did one on shopping secondhand and sustainable.
Yes, which is really important.
It is, and actually there's another sustainably related feature in the edition as well, but the one I'm thinking of, the 2 girls talked about their own thrifting experiences and then actually go through some really useful tips about how to tell if a garment is quality and what to look for, looking for the stitching in the hem and looking for the natural fibers. And then also just some fun ways to gift in case, again, you don't know your friend's size,
I love shopping. We have wonderful thrift stores here in Akron too, and some of them are small and we don't even know they're there. I got these I'll shout them out, the thrift store that is they give to the American Cancer Society thrift store that's over on West Market Street. So
yeah, they actually focused on, so they defined if a store is a thrift, if it's a curated store like Plato's Closet, or if it's a consignment-based store with vintage. And they featured Modern Traditions, which is a vintage clothing store in Northside.
Yes.
And Northside Cellar, which is also in the district.
Yes. Got some great stuff there too.
Yeah, Northside Cellar is really, really fun. But it's a great story. And the thing that really I find moving about it is one of the 2 students wrote the opening, and she talks about how her father, who passed away, had bought this picture frame for her mother and put a diamond necklace in it for their first Christmas.
Wow.
And the frame got chewed up by a pet. But her father's gone. And so it was a very sad thing. And she talks about being in the thrift store and sort of like shuffling through frames and finding the exact frame.
Oh, how beautiful.
That had been lost. And so when I read that, I was like, oh, this is great. These students are really getting it. They get the storytelling, and that's, what we're trying to teach. But I'm excited for people to get to read that story. And I'm excited for the information in here you really can't get elsewhere.
Yeah, you know what I think is really interesting is that it's not just here's a list of places you can go. It's you're providing people with stories, with more information. You're telling the background about, the people and how they struggled with infertility, and then this business came out of it. And you're telling the background of the student with the picture frame. And I just love that you're providing people with the stories behind it. And so that's really beautiful. Zach, can you actually tell me a little bit about your experiences with working with the ZipsGuide? How's it been for you?
Yeah, so it's been, as a media studies student, it's been a little similar to what I've done, a little different from what I've done, because kind of the process of making up the interview questions, starting the interview process, taking that information and then, turning it into finished work. It's a lot of what I've done in the past. It's a little different because, as I mentioned before, it's more, I do kind of more of the production side, kind of, with the cameras, kind of behind the scenes and stuff. So,
right.
But I've always loved writing, and I love, I just always love meeting new people and hearing new stories and finding ways to share those stories.
Right.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that I always try to do, through media studies, also through PR, to just the storytelling element. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's why I'm here, and I love telling people stories as well. And I think it's just really cool what you guys are doing. Thank you for providing the service. I love that it's a collaboration with Downtown Akron Partnership as well, and just helping to share with people like, hey, we have great stuff right here in Akron. You don't have to go outside of Akron to find these things. So important.
And we have great people behind it. And when you spend at these small local businesses, your money stays here.
Exactly.
Your hard-earned dollars go right back into the community to make it, just a better place to live.
Exactly.
And so we're passionate about that.
That's really important. And I know, sometimes as a busy person myself, like I'll speak to our audience here, it can be easier to go on Amazon, but it's better for your community if you can go out and put some of that money back into these beautiful small businesses. And so I just encourage you, take a day and go out, and if you haven't done some of your shopping, go out and do it locally here in Akron. Use the ZipsGuide. Where can people find the ZipsGuide?
It's at www.zipsguide.com, and we have more than 30 businesses profiled because we actually archive previous semester work.
Wonderful.
So in spring, we'll have our Moms, Dads, and Grads Guide for shopping for your Mother's Day, Father's Day, and graduation gifting needs. But if there's a small business you're curious about, it's pretty likely that they're mentioned somewhere in the guide, and we have a great A to Z index where you can go in and learn more about what you're interested in.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julie, for what you're doing. Thank you, Zach, for coming on the show today. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. We had a great morning here on Good Morning Akron. Make sure you stay tuned. We've got more great stuff coming up next.